Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Dragonmaid deck profiles. This is a really awesome deck that basically functions in the battle phase by letting your Dragonmaids tag out into their dragon forms to go into battle. I love the way this deck looks, and what's not to love about this deck? You're playing dragons and maids in the same deck. So, without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Chamber Dragonmaid, which is actually my favorite of all of the Dragonmaid monsters, and comment down below what your favorite Dragonmaid monster is as well. That if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add 1 Dragonmaid spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and at the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon a level 7 or higher Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, which is really cool because they basically all tag in and out to different levels of Dragonmaid monsters, which is really awesome. We then play 3 copies of Kitchen Dragonmaid. Kitchen Dragonmaid is also really helpful in this deck. If this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a Dragonmaid monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy yourself, then send a Dragonmaid monster from your hand to the graveyard, and at the start of the battle phase, you can return it to your hand, and then you can special summon a level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, which is really helpful just to be able to get that monster out on your side of the field, because all of your Dragonmaid monsters have very low attack points when they're in their maid form, but when they go into their dragon form, they get really big. We then play 3 copies of Parlor Dragonmaid. Parlor Dragonmaid is really cool because she's basically a walking Foolish Burial. That if this card is normal summon or special summon, you get to send a Dragonmaid card from your deck to the graveyard, and she lets you tag out into a level 8 Dragonmaid monster as well. We then play a single copy of Nurse. Nurse is just a one-up to me right now. I feel like she's really good, but I'm just playing her at 1 right now because she has the ability that if she's normal or special summon, you get to target a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster in the graveyard, except another copy yourself, and special summon it. And she lets you tag out into a level 7 Dragonmaid, which is a little bit unfortunate because you play more around the level 8 ones and less around the level 7 ones now. And so this card is just a one-up to me for the current moment. We then play a single copy of I wish we had Chamber's dragon form, but play a single copy of Parlor's. Parlor's dragon form has the ability that she cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control a fusion monster, and use each of the following effects for once per turn. That you can discard her and then target 1 face-up monster on the field, and players cannot activate them target's effects while it's on the field this turn, and then at the start or the end of the battle phase, you can return her to your hand, and then if you do, special summon a level 3 Dragonmaid monster from your hand. We then play a single copy of Kitchen's Dragon form, which is basically like a hand trap that you can quick effect discard her and then target a Dragonmaid monster you control, and it gains 2,000 attack, which is pretty cool. And then during the end of the battle phase, she tags back out into a level 3 Dragonmaid monster. And then a single copy of Nurse's Dragon form, which lets you discard her from your hand to be able to special summon a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand, which is pretty good. But she tags back out into a copy of your Dragonmaid Nurse only, which is a little bit unfortunate because you only play the 1 copy now. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really helpful in this deck because it basically just stops your opponent from touching the deck. And then we play 2 copies of Ghost Spell because Ghost Spell basically just stops your opponent from touching the graveyard. I'm only playing 2 Ghost Spell in this particular build because I feel like Ash is a little bit better and have a lot of other tech cards in this particular deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn is going to help you out a lot in this deck to be able to basically just revive back your Dragonmaid monsters from the graveyard because their effects activate if they're normal or special summon, but only once per turn. 1 copy of Feather Duster because you just want to deal with your opponent's back row. I actually play 2 copies of Changeover. I probably would never play it at 3, but I really do actually like it as a 2 of. It lets you fusion summon into a dragon fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And then while this card's in the graveyard, you get to target 1 Dragonmaid monster you control and add this card to your hand. If you do, return that monster to your hand as well. It's really awesome to be able to go into your Dragonmaid house with this card or into her dragon form with this card. It's really a great card in this particular deck. We then play play 3 copies of Dragonmaid Hospitality. Dragonmaid Hospitality lets you special summon a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, and then you get to send a Dragonmaid monster with the same attribute, but a different level from your deck to the graveyard. So it's either going to be your copy of Parlor, your copy of Nurse, or your copy of the Kitchen to be able to send those to the graveyard or special summon them from the hand, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance as well. The 3 Pot of Extravagance are basically here to be able to let you draw a little bit deeper into the deck to get into your combo pieces. This card helps out the deck a lot. You're not too concerned because you basically just play 3 of each of the Dragonmaid extra deck monsters, so this card helps out a lot in the deck. So that's actually it for the spells. I've actually gone to kind of a trap build with this deck, so let's go ahead and get into the traps. So for the traps, we're playing a 3 copies of Dragonmaid Tidying. Dragonmaid Tidying is a really, really awesome card in this deck because it lets you target 1 Dragonmaid monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, or 1 card that they control or in their graveyard, return them to the hand, and then you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but return to the hand during the end phase. And you can only activate 1 of each of these effects per turn. This card's like a really, really good compulse, and it's really helpful to help you recycle your Dragonmaid cards back to your hand, and it's just really good. Like, I really liked playing this card as a 3 of. We play 3 copies of Ice Dragon Prison because it basically just outs just about anything in this game right now. This card lets you target a monster your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your field, and then banish a card on both players' fields that have the same type, which is pretty good just to be able to banish any card. I really like that card to be able to just basically bring back, if your opponent summons like a Dragoons, you can just bring back the copy of like Dark Magician and then banish the Dragoons, which is really cool because it just targets a monster in the graveyard. It doesn't target for banishing, because that's really just a good effect. We then play 3 copies of Solemn Judgment because the 3 Solemn Judgments just basically say no to everything, which is why I play this card as a 3 of. And then I play 3 copies of Solemn Strike as well. The Solemn Strikes has the ability that when a monster would be special summoned or a monster effect is activated, you pay 1,500 and negate the summon. So I play these at 3 each. I have debated, I will say, dropping the 3 Solemn Judgments for 3 copies of Dynamiscus because I wanted to have a little bit more utility to banish. But I really am liking the Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike package, and it's really helped me out a lot as playing this deck. But it's totally up to you. That's just a suggestion. So that's it for the traps, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, it is a Pot of Extravagance build, so a lot of this is subject to change as you want to, so there is a lot of 3 ofs in this deck. So we're going to be playing 3 copies of House Dragonmaid's Dragon Form. This card is really, really good. It has the ability that you have to fusion summon this card with a Dragonmaid monster and a level 5 or higher dragon monster, and it has the ability that during the standby phase you can special summon 1 level 9 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. And then when your opponent activates a card effect, you can quick effect negate the activation if you do destroy that card, and also after this card returns, you also return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, you special summon 1 copy of House Dragonmaid from your extra deck, which is really awesome because it's basically a walking negate that gives you a copy of House Dragonmaid, which you play as a 3 of. She has the ability that once per turn during the standby phase, you get to target 1 other Dragonmaid monster you control, special summon a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position whose level is 1 level higher or 1 level lower than it, and then when another face-up dragon monster you control is returned to the hand, except during the damage step, you get to target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it, which this card is just really, really good to just be able to get onto your side of the field, and especially during the battle phase, she just pops stuff, which is really nice when they return to the hand. We then play 3 copies of the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This card is really helpful in the deck, and I would totally recommend playing this card as a 3 of in this deck, because this card just bounces stuff and special summons dragons from the deck, which is just super helpful, because once per turn, if this card is in your extra monster zone quick effect, you can tribute 1 monster from your hand or field and return 1 face-up monster on the field to the hand. And if this card is tributed, you can special summon 1 dragon monster in your hand or deck, but its attack defense becomes 0 and you only effect this card once per turn. So I play this card as a 3 of because it has that really awesome effect just to bounce and give you a dragon from the deck. Play a single copy of Boral Sword because it helps you OTK in this deck and it's really easy to summon. 1 copy of Boral Load because Boral Load also helps you take opponent's monsters, which is really nice because neither player can target this card with card effects. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target a face-up monster on the field. It loses 500 attack. Your opponent cannot activate cards and effects in response to this. And also it has the ability at the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, this card can take the opponent's monster and you place in the zone this card points to, which is pretty cool to just immediately take an opponent's monster away from them if this card card battles. It doesn't target, it just takes it, which is kind of cool. 1 copy of Unicorn because it spins stuff, which is really nice. 1 copy of Phoenix because it also pops spells and traps. 1 copy of Striker Dragon because Striker Dragon is just a 1-of now. And plus, Striker Dragon is just kind of nice to go into this deck because it's a Link 1 Dragon monster and can just help out with getting your Dragon Maids to the graveyard to revive them back. And then a single copy of Guard Dragon Pisty because it's the only one we can play now. And it just has the ability that if it points to a zone that a dragon monster points to, that's a Link monster, you can target one of your banished dragon monsters that's in your graveyard or banished and special summon it to a zone that 2 dragon Link monsters point to, which is really, really cool to be able to just bring it back. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's a really awesome deck to be able to play around with. Chamber is getting a reprint soon, so the deck will be a little bit more budget, and hopefully you guys are just wait it out or pick up Dragonmaid Chamber because she's awesome as a secret rare. I love this card, and it's just one of my favorite cards in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just a really awesome looking card. So anyways, guys, this is Dark Arm Duels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.